On September 23, 2025, President Donald Trump shattered diplomatic norms at the United Nations General Assembly. He declared that NATO should be ready to shoot down Russian military aircraft violating member airspace, a direct warning that stunned the world. When pressed if the US would support such action, Trump replied, "It depends on the circumstances," signaling a real policy shift toward possible military engagement. This statement draws a hard line, forcing Moscow to de-escalate or risk direct confrontation with NATO. The world is now watching. Is this a bluff, or a new era of brinkmanship? For years, the West relied on sanctions and diplomacy with Russia. Trump's words mark a break from that era, raising the specter of a wider European conflict. With the war in Ukraine grinding on, Trump's warning is a stark reminder of Europe's fragile peace. What was once a regional conflict now threatens to spill over, making the risk of a broader war alarmingly real. Trump's warning followed a month of escalating Russian provocations along NATO's eastern border. Russian jets and drones have repeatedly violated Polish and Estonian airspace, testing NATO's defenses and resolve. In one incident, Russian MiG-31S penetrated Estonian airspace for 12 minutes before being intercepted by NATO jets. NATO leaders led by Chief Mark Rutte responded with a unified message: "We will defend ourselves using all necessary military tools." Poland and the UK echoed this resolve, warning that any further violations could trigger a military response. The US envoy reaffirmed, "We will defend every inch of NATO territory." Both sides are now rapidly building up forces, with Russia amassing 300,000 troops and NATO increasing patrols and deployments. The skies over Eastern Europe are tense, and the risk of miscalculation has never been higher. Trump's UN speech marked a dramatic reversal from his earlier skepticism toward Ukraine and President Zelensky. Once critical of Ukraine's resistance, Trump now praised Zelensky and the Ukrainian people's bravery, aligning himself with NATO's mainstream. This shift reassures allies of continued US support and signals to Russia that American resolve is firm. For Ukraine, it's a morale boost. For NATO, it's a sign of unity at a critical moment. The Kremlin may have hoped for division under Trump, but his new stance presents Moscow with a more unpredictable adversary. Trump's foreign policy remains transactional and unpredictable, but his confrontational posture forces all sides to recalibrate. The world is left to wonder, is this a lasting change or another twist in an unpredictable presidency? Either way, the stakes for global security have just been raised. The hardening rhetoric from Washington and its allies raises the risk of accidental conflict with Russia. With more jets in the sky and nerves frayed, a single misstep, a pilot lingering too long, a radar misread, could trigger disaster. Both Trump and Putin are known for brinkmanship, making de-escalation harder if shots are fired. The ultimate danger: nuclear war. Putin has repeatedly used nuclear threats as a shield for aggression, warning the West he's not bluffing. Even a limited NATO-Russia clash could bring the world closer to nuclear exchange than at any time since the Cold War. Russian doctrine allows tactical nuclear use if the state is threatened, a threshold easily crossed in a NATO conflict. Legal agreements to prevent nuclear war are eroding as tensions rise. The world now teeters on the edge of consequences too dire to contemplate. On September 24, 2025, Vladimir Putin unexpectedly offered to extend the New START nuclear treaty for 1 year, if the US agrees. This treaty, the last arms control pact between the superpowers, is set to expire in early 2026. Is Putin's offer a genuine attempt to de-escalate or a ploy to distract from Russia's provocations? Experts believe Trump may accept, framing it as a diplomatic win while maintaining a tough stance. The timing is suspect. Putin may hope to appear reasonable, sowing division within NATO. Some allies may see the offer as a chance for peace. Others, especially frontline states, view it as a stalling tactic. The facts remain. Russia is provoking, NATO is warning, and the risk of conflict is at its highest in a generation. The next decisions in Washington and Moscow will determine if this crisis is diffused or explodes into catastrophe.